Bonjour Lilian,
Bonjour Alon,
ça va?
ça va très bien.
Bon. Good morning to all our viewers. Thank you for tuning in. I want to welcome Lilian Thibault, the founder of Awake, this morning. So, Lilian, first and foremost, is it Awake, Awake Watches, Awake Concept, or all three?
No, it's just awake. It used to be awake concept, but we wanted to like make it more simple. So no, we're just talking about awake.
Just Awake.
Yeah,
So, I'm awake. I got my coffee. I'm very
exactly.
happy to have you on the show. And for sneakerheads like me, we know Awake as a retailer as well. Does that cause any problems for you as a watch brand?
No, I mean
No,
no.
because I see you have Air Jordan 1s behind you. I have them here on my wall. So that's another passion you and I share. So
Exactly.
we're going to talk a bit about that later. So this is episode 61 of the Aces Live. I'm very happy to have you on the show. Thank you so much. I know you haven't watched any of the previous 60 episodes, which I won't hold against you. So it's a tradition that we kick off with a wrist check, dear Lilian. What watch are you wearing today?
Today, it's in the morning. I'm just wearing no watch for the moment. I think today I will wear. Yeah, yeah. I know you have two on your waist. Yeah. Right now I'm wearing no watch. It's usually in the morning, and I'm just going like a free wrist.
That's why you call the company Awake, because you are slow to wake in the morning. Strap
No,
on your watch.
basically I wake up early in the morning, but yeah. I mean, right now this morning I have no watch.
Okay, we'll forgive you. What watch are you going to strap on? Because I have four for you if you want.
Yeah. I mean, the basically for me, I'm gonna wear the my favorite version, which is the red one. But normally, I will say that I will wear this watch because usually I wear a prototype. So we've got something that's like quite a lot of projects that are cooking, and I'm used to wear what's gonna come next rather than what's right now for sale. So basically, there is something that I really like in the prototypes we've created is the market rewatch. So I will wear definitely this one.
I understand. So, me myself, I'm wearing indeed too. This is my first Awake that I
Yeah,
ever bought. Without you knowing, I'm a big Alain Silverstein fan. You guys teamed up with him and created
exactly.
this solar powered quartz recycled material watch, which I love. So this was my second one, and the first one, and the second one is after we met, we became friends, and I was eligible to obtain one of the family and friends of this amazing. I nicknamed it the Doodle watch. I love it, titanium automatic.
Mhm.
And my third one is in back order, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Um,
It's funny
so
because what you I mean there were three steps in Awake's life, and you are wearing the first two ones, and you
yeah,
are showcasing the third step. It's very funny because you have all the story of Awake just on your wrist or on the table.
I've been following you guys actually from day one, and I love what you guys do. That's why you're here. I had to twist your arm to become a retailer in the Netherlands, so we are exclusive retailers since actually a few months only. Um, so nowadays we stream on multiple channels, including Instagram. Instagram is not embedded in this whole StreamYard software that we use. So we have our dear friend Ariane, who is on Instagram, Benelux Fortis enthusiast. He writes, "Bonjour, good morning. Thank you, Ariane, for tuning in. Everyone who's looking and joining, please post, ask your questions, even if it's on Instagram. I'll copy paste them onto the main platform and we'll answer all your questions here as well." But before we do so, dear Lilian, we're going to do the 7 The Ace List questions that are standard for every guest. First one for you. Although you're not wearing a watch right now, I'm quite sure you have a favorite watch or jewel. Please tell us which one and why.
I think that apart from the watch I make, my favorite watch will be the Patek Philippe World Timer enamel dial, because I've always been a fan of métier d'art, and I think that this watch is like one of the most, I mean, one of the watch that for me represents the most the quintessence of watchmaking.
Could we say that watch inspired you for the Son Mai? So it's a watch that is currently actually new in your collection and isn't enamel, enamel, not
It's not.
email.
Yeah, no, it's a Son Mai. It's a Vietnamese lacquer. Of course, it inspired me because
It inspired you.
yeah, of course, I've been into watches for more than 20 years now. So I've always been fond of métier d'art, and but métier d'art have always been connected to very very high end watches, very expensive ones. So I wanted to bring this kind of excellence, this kind of patience, this kind of very very inspiring craftsmanship to a price segment where it just simply does not exist. So the idea behind the Sonmai collection was to be able to bring métier d'art into the brand, and like bringing something very new. This technique, which is basically the use of two techniques, the one which is the silver leaf, and the other one which is the Sonmai lacquer, which is the very specific lacquer that is only produced in Vietnam, that brings this kind of exciting color. Some people say that it looks like, I mean, when people don't know about the technique, they ask if it's not like a enamel, but it's very different. The way that we use the silver leaf makes it even more vivid, even more responding to the different light conditions. So it's very, very it's something really unique, and I'm really happy to be able to bring this technique that I've never used in watchmaking into AWAKW.
Amazing. Do you actually own that Patek Philippe that is your favorite?
I do, yeah. I'm a lucky guy. I had the opportunity because I've been collecting for quite a long time now. So this watch is part of my collection, and really inspires me every day to bring something as mesmerizing as this reference.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Second question. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I've always wanted to I think that being an entrepreneur was I've been an entrepreneur for quite a long time. I wanted to bring something. My idea as an entrepreneur is to have a vision and to create things that have never been done. So this is all about the story about AWAKW. So when you enter a market where there is so many brands, so many offers, so many exciting things, how do you make the things your own way? How do you innovate? How do you bring something that does not exist to add your own brick to the industry? So I think that I like the idea of innovation. Being an innovator in my industry is something that I've been very exciting about since I was quite young.
So where did we find you in the world? Where are you from and where are you now today?
Where am I?
Yes.
Where I'm based, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm based in Aix-en-Provence, which is in the south of France, near Marseille, for people who know a bit about south of France. So very lucky. This is a move I made 2 years ago because I've been living in Paris my entire life, and I wanted to raise my children in a more like peaceful and green atmosphere. So it's quite a recent move, but I'm really happy to this new momentum in our family life.
Amazing. So thank you for sharing that. We have 2 more questions coming in and comments on Instagram. A very long handle. I love my family, love me. Says hi. Hi there. Thank you for tuning in. And we actually got a awesome question from Frank P. Um, he writes, let me just put it up on the screen. I'm lagging. I need to do this manually. So he writes, hello, will there ever be another watch case colors? Gold, rose gold. Good question.
I mean, that's. I'm really thinking about it. I think it's there is something very special, especially that I like the color and the warmness of the gold. So this is something that we are really thinking about. I think we will go step by step, and right now we are more into the dial techniques, providing something very unique. But the case materials is something that we are really thinking about.
So, Lilian, you can use this as consumer generated feedback. You can ask some questions back because I have a question for Frank. Would you want plated cases or do you want full gold cases? Is this something you would like to know as well, Lilian?
Yeah, sure, sure.
So please do give us that feedback. Thank you for tuning in, Frank, and we would love to hear your feedback. While he answers us again in this ping pong game on Instagram, third question for you, Lilian. Who is or was your role model?
My English have come some limits. Just please explain me what's the role model.
Role model is when you grew up and you looked up to somebody, or today when you have a mentor. It can be papa, it can be somebody famous, or even somebody not famous. Somebody who you learn, who you look up to.
Um, I mean I don't have the role model, to be honest. This is something that I like to take inspiration from people when I think they do things that are inspiring. But I've never had someone which was like for me like a guide or a role model. So I like the idea to take the best of each person I meet or I see, because I don't meet all the people I see, some stars or whatever. I think I trying to build my role model, integrating the best qualities of the people that I look. Even my father has said. I think that there's lots of great thing about my father, but many other people too. So I don't have any proper role model.
Let me push you a bit further. I know you are a killer. Le canon in France, they say, both in entrepreneurship, but also in sports. You push yourself very hard. Why? What motivates you?
I think this is all about discipline. When you're an entrepreneur, you really need to wake up in the morning and don't ask any questions. And when I do sport, it's exactly the same. Like just always trying to push the limit, always drive your some discipline, and whatever the weather is, you have to go running. Even if you don't want, it's the same for a company. There is no moment where you don't just you have the opportunity to be lazy or whatever. So I like the idea of like sport is a really strong discipline if you want to have some nice results. And I think that entrepreneurship too. So I think that the two are really connected.
Would you say that entrepreneurship is top sport?
It's a sport. Yeah. Yeah. Of course it is. I mean that this is very tough. Like sport, when you doing a lot of sports, like this is very challenging. There are lots of competition, just like in sport. And I mean, you have to. You have to do the best. If you want to get some results, you always have to push the limits. The more you can. So yes, of course, entrepreneurship is a kind of sport.
Amazing. Fourth question. This show, the Ace List Live, was born during lockdowns in the COVID period. So we kept this question in. If you could teleport tomorrow, dear Lilian, where would you go? And if you want, you can time travel.
I think I'm gonna have something quite amazing. I think that the place I live here is the place I would like to stay. I would like to live. So if I had to teleport somewhere, I think it would be where I'm right now. So in a way, this is something quite positive because this is very important that you are feeling comfortable in your environment. I think this is very important for your creativity, very important for it has to be connected to what you say about your mission, about what you do, your passion, etc. I think that I'm kind of living in the right place at the moment, so I don't need to teleport somewhere else.
It's ironic because I pulled up your website, and the previous collection that was awesome and I missed were the time travelers.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys think of teleportation, but you're telling me you're content and happy where you are.
Yeah, of course, because the idea of these time travelers was more than having a look from the space at the beauty of Earth, observe the beauty of Earth, observe this planet. There is no planet B, as we say. So this idea was first when we made this NASA collaboration to go into space to see the Earth like an astronaut, and then the time travelers take us home through a meteorite. It's very philosophical, and we go home because this is the place we want to be. So this was not an idea of like I don't like the idea to live in space or to live in Mars or whatever. It was just a way to see where the planet looks the most beautiful, and this is obviously from space. So, but the time travelers was about going back to Earth and try to after you've seen the beauty of the planet, you just want to protect it and to transmit it. So that is really connected to the mission of the brand. We don't do things for free. We always do something because all the projects we made were connected to the philosophy of the brand. We don't like to go to space just because space is cool. We like to go to space because this is the only place where all the people who went to space just said from space the Earth is so beautiful, so we have to, but it looks so fragile and we have to protect it. So every time we do a project, it has to be connected to the mission.
That's beautiful. So you gave me a perfect segue to dive deeper into the philosophy of the brand and the name, because you already said you don't want to teleport because you're content where you are. You're very aware what your mission is. So what is AWAKW's mission, and what was your mission to found it, and when did you found it?
I mean, I founded AWAKW 2019, and the idea was to bring values and philosophy to the brand first, and of course to the watch industry. The mission of AWAKW is very simple: is to reveal the beauties that surround us, whether it's shaped by nature or crafted by men. And the idea is we are overconnected. We are really in a world where everything goes fast. We are most of us screen addicted, and sometimes we need to step back and to see what's beautiful just around us. And the idea of AWAKW is always to show the beauty that surrounds us. We start a lot about the beauty of Earth, starting from the watch you showed me. That's how can we create new materials that have a lower impact, and this is the story about the collaboration with Alan Silberstein. The idea of the NASA watch was just like I said earlier, it was to show the beauty of Earth from the space. So it was not just the fashion watch. It was much more than that. And now we are using the metadata, which for me are very important, because AWAKW is a lot about what we want to share, what we want to protect, and what we want to transmit. So all the watches that we've made since our creation are connected to this philosophy. And I think that's the metadata is something that we really need to pay attention for. This is something that is really inspiring. You know, we have. We live in a world when you open your TV where everything seems to be like stressing, and I think that using metadata show that humanity is capable capable of bringing like very inspiring, very beautiful things. And this is the kind of thing that I want to talk about to my children, to talk about other people. So this is the reason why we moved to métier d'art after being really into innovation about the materials or the technologies. I think that we find our way with métier d'art because this technique are help us to express our mission in the best way possible.
Love it. And the brand name says it all. Are you awake and aware of your surroundings, of where you be, where you're at?
Exactly. I mean, that's the name of the brand is just like a sum of our mission, like raising awareness, raising attention about what's important in life. And we use the watch. The watch is a symbol of time. So the idea behind this is, what do you do with your own time? So connect to what is essential to life, what is important, and try to stay away from anything that doesn't mean anything at the end of the day.
That's amazing. So this is quartz, solar powered, recycled materials, very aware, very awake. It's all about sustainability and long-term strategy. This is mechanical.
Yeah.
The current collection, I've showed previous chapters. Today's chapter is 4 beautiful Sonmai watches, which I have here. And I actually play around with them a lot in the different lights, which is the next chapter. You guys pushed forward. Swiss made, La Jouperet Carlibers, the Métier d'Art, which, well, who else should I ask than a Frenchman? Translate Métier d'Art in English, because those that don't speak French, the watch industry uses it all day long, but it doesn't always resonate with people. What does the French mean by Métier d'Art?
Métier d'Art is about like a high skilled craftsmanship. I think that's the best translation for this word. We of course we know French like to keep some of their best words, so they don't want to translate it. So that's why we use métier d'art. But métier d'art is about the excellence of craftsmanship. You see that this watch that you are showing is the dial is made by a master lacquer, which is spending like hours on each dial to make it absolutely unique, to make it very like mesmerizing. And I think that it has the way this guy with his passion, his patience is providing something quite unique. Is very important in AWAKW's philosophy, because this guy spent a lot of time on your watch. So what do you do with your own time? Always connect to the philosophy of the brand.
Thank you for sharing that. 5th question for you. What book are you currently reading, or what book made an impression on you that you've recently read?
I just start. This is a small book that The Art of War.
Sun Tzu.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh.
Just started yesterday, so don't ask any question. But I like this. I try to find my inspiration in very different ways, and books are always bring something that I can use for my own path and my own project. So The Art of War is quite a very classic book. Sorry. So yes, I'm happy to start this one. It's a small one.
They say that every entrepreneur or manager should read it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been an entrepreneur since 2009 was when I created my first company, and I'm just starting this book. So it's never too late to do good things, and I'm happy to be able to read this book. Maybe I should have done it 10 years ago, but that's the way it is.
Everything has its right time, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So we have some comments coming in on LinkedIn. We have Gianfilippo Fersari saying hi. Gianfilippo, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, please shoot them. We'll deal with them either in real time or a bit later. We actually got another amazing question, which I'll save for later, dear Lilian. That's our super collector, William. Going to the sixth question, dear Lilian. You guys are playing with colors.
Yeah.
So a lot, actually. We just saw a red poppy color, a tribute to your poppy collection. I have the 4 Sonmai watches here that we see the métier d'art here.
Yeah.
So we're about to go to Q2 of 25 already.
Yeah.
Knowing you, you're thinking all the time. You're planning ahead. Are you already working on collections 2026, 27? How far ahead are you thinking and working? And what do you think is the trends for colors, both for Awake and the watch industry? Where are we going?
Okay. First question, of course, I'm always trying to think like 3 years ahead. This is very important because when I'm basically I was not working in the like a manufacturing industry, like creating products in the past. So I've learned that when you start your watch company, you have to be very patient because things takes a lot of time. There is always like a almost 2 years of development if you from the idea of a watch to the watch itself when it's ready to be launched. So it's very long process. So we have to really think at least for the next 3 years. So this is what I do. So the exciting thing is that you always, just like I said at the beginning, that I was more wearing my prototypes rather than the current collection, is because I need to live with the watch to see if I'm gonna be happy with them like weeks after weeks. So that's very important. So of course, we're gonna have a lot of novelties that's gonna be launched within the next 3 years. We have a clear roadmap because we know where we are going. It's gonna be still a lot about métier d'art because this is something that, as personally, I really enjoy, and also because there is two important things. That it's the technique we use allows us to a lot of creativity. We are going to bring things that you've never seen in any other brand. Just not about the technique, but the way we use it. And also, I really like the way that métier d'art brings to every single watch some kind of uniqueness because, it's totally impossible to reproduce the same pattern 2 times. So every watch has its own, apart from the fact that they look like the same because they have the same colors, but each one will have a very specific pattern. And I really like this idea of uniqueness. I think it's very connected to the to luxury and to the way that people like to have something that is unique. And also for the colors, I'm thinking about the colors. Yeah, I mean that we are gonna stick to the main colors that people like green or blue, because that this is like I will say timeless colors. But I think that the colors that we are gonna see more and more are pink. Even for men's watch, I think that pink is like a color that we can express in the different ways and bring something very, very, very nice. And mocha is very interesting because it's connected to the earth, to the ground, and I think that's a color that first I want to introduce into my collections. I think that's something that will be more and more popular in the future.
So you triggered 2 questions. Pink, are you talking pastel?
Yeah, more pastel than
vibrant, or are you talking fuchsia, pink, purple, very intense color, or are you talking about very dark and more earthy, subtle?
I think that I mean the pastel are very nice. I mean the when you see our collections, we are more into like a darker color. I think I want to bring something a bit more light, clear. I think that pastel can bring this kind of difference, and also I think that pastel color are like a bit like a more smooth, more peaceful. I think that's really have their place. Even if I like fuchsia, but fuchsia is more something that for a specific project or for people who already have everything. And by the way, this is like most of our clients are, because they don't go for métier d'art for their first wash. We have really our clients are really more and more about collectors, and they really like things that they don't have in their collection, so they have all the basics. So fuchsia is a nice option too, to be honest. But right now we are more into pastel colors.
So you mentioned second color brown, mocha, earthy tones. How much do you look at trends in the market and or Pantone? Because 2025 color last year by
Yeah,
Pantone was called Mocha Mousse,
yeah.
which I pulled up on the screen. Are you looking at that, or do you follow your own Northern Star?
Both. I think that's I think that you have to try to observe what the trends are. That this is important, but don't have to try to be always connected to these trends, because trends is also about fashion, and fashion goes up and goes down. So I think that they don't take a lot of risk with the mocha, because mocha is like a quite conventional colors, but. I've always been fan of the brown color in general. I think this is something a bit more difficult in the watches, and I think that we are working to find the right mocha or brown color that will be something that will be totally unique, something you've never seen in the past. So we take some inspiration from outside, but we also do it with what we think is good and what we think is worth to try.
Very interesting to hear how you work on that and develop watches and look at trends. Last question. Have you ever been to Amsterdam? And if so, what's your favorite memory?
I've been to Amsterdam quite a few times in the past, and I think that I would say that my favorite moments, my favorite memories about enjoying like a warm chocolate when it's cold outside. I think that this is a really amazing city, and I really like it, and I like the way of life. Some people would prefer maybe going during summer, but I like the winter spirit in this city too. So this is where I got my best memories from the city.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So those were the 7 questions. Thank you, Lilian, for sharing those. We have questions coming in for our dear viewers. If you tuned in later, please ask anything you want. Lilian and I will answer them on the show. Before we do so, I want to do a bit of more background about Awake.
Mm-hmm.
So you started 6 years ago.
Yep.
What makes you so crazy to start a watch brand in such a already dense and very competitive environment? Because there were a lot of brands 6 years ago. They still are today. So what made you want to start another watch brand?
I think it's a very interesting question. I think that first of all, I will say my passion. I told it I've been into watches for almost 20 years now. I've been working in the watch industry, but more into digital, so not connected to the really, like a manufacturing side. But this is a product which I'm really connected to. So this is very important, because since I've been an entrepreneur, I've always worked in the industries that I like. I mean, if I want to wake up every morning with a smile and with a lot of energy, I have to work on business, on ideas, on projects, on products I like. So this is the first reason why. Also, I think that I'm someone which is very overactive. I'm keep thinking about my life will be a short period, to me, and I have to accomplish the more things I can. So this is my connection to time. I'm always try. I never rest, to be honest, and I think that I should sometimes I should do that, but I'm always hyperactive, and because I think there are so many things to learn, so many things to share, so many things to to accomplish in a life. So I've got a specific connection to time, and also I think that the watch is a very I've been talking a lot about philosophy. I think that the watch is something very philosophical itself, because nobody buy the watch to tell time anymore. We don't need that. So the idea is about passion, uh, excellence, a lot of things that I think can express the philosophy of the brand. Because I think that's the this object itself is quite obsolete. So if you want to bring it some interest and also passing it to the next generation, I think that this is very important to have a part of philosophy in it. And this is why I wouldn't have tried to launch a brand if it didn't have any values or philosophy behind, because I think I wouldn't have to, I wouldn't be able to bring something interesting, something new. And this is all these ideas combined why I wanted to bring this project to life in 2018.
So you started off with basically these watches. The DNA that I see, the cases are all the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you started with a case design.
Exactly.
Did you do that? Who helped you from day one?
I mean, almost everything we've done so far was done internally. So this is our designer who made it. Yeah, this first watch was. We can go back to this part of the AWAKW's life, which was the first 2 years of the brand, where the idea was to show how we could turn a threat into a source. Using the watch you're wearing, the Silberstein one was made of recycled fishing net, showing that we can transform something which is harmful for the planet into something which is very, very, giving it a new life, and something which is very interesting in terms of technicity. And we use solar movements at the beginning, because I think that it was a cross movement, and I think that was an interesting way to say that we can use the natural energy to bring life to something. But I really it was the story of the two first year of the brand, that I wanted to be more connected to my passion for watches. This is why we turned it we moved to mechanical watches, because I was really happy with the philosophy of the innovations we brought to the industry, but something was missing into this project. It was the part of my own passion for watches. So this is why we moved to mechanical watches in 2021, and this was introducing a new life for AWAKW, a second step, and yes, that's what I think a very good decision at the end of the day. I can't hear you anymore. I think your mic is.
Sorry, my mic was muted.
Yeah.
I did not start with Alain Silberstein. For me, you guys came on the radar actually with the NASA watches. I think you did a cool collab with Second, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
You evolved then from those working with collabs into the Time Travelers collection. That for me was a pivotal point as an outsider, that you guys were moving from hype beast, cool, funky collabs into a watch brand. You work with titanium, meteorite. We saw a video earlier on that higher attention to details, titanium cases, still Miyota calibers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys jumped last summer, Geneva Watch Days. You guys gave me a sneak peek of the Soul Mind that we see today, the 4 watches I have here.
Mm-hmm.
And that blew my mind. And then I said, wow, you guys went from cool, fun, adorable, nice to have, to real watchmaker, and adding value to the watch industry. Because we've received questions from Ace VIPs that couldn't tune in live, and one was very interesting, and I wanted to say yes, but then I said, you know what? Let's ask Lilian on the show, on the spot. And the question was, let me just find it. Here. The question was, are you the first to use the Somai technique in the watch industry? I thought you guys were, but who better to ask than you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I will start with your observation that the collection you have on your hand is and it's also related to another question where are you how many years are you looking at to develop your products? I mean that right after we launched the Laza in 2022, we were already working on something new, the next step. And I think that you mentioning that the I'm obsessed with the details. This is something that I'm really, really obsessed about. And I think that when we launched the NASA, which was a great success, by the way, I wanted to bring the brand right after to another level. And the one of metadata. We've been working on the Sunlight technique for 3 years. It was like mid 22, yeah, mid to do it just right after the NASA launch. And so we went to these guys, and the story behind this, my personal connection to this technique is a trip I made. My first trip to Vietnam was 17 years ago, and I came back with a artwork, which is still in my office. And this artwork was using the Vietnamese ancestral lacquering technique, which is very unique because very different from the Urushi, which comes from Japan. This lacquer is totally transparent, so it's not here at the it's here to protect and reveal what is underneath, and that's the way we're using this lacquer for centuries. And it was very interesting because I had this painting in my office, and when I was thinking about metadata, I thought that it was worth to try. And we met these people, this workshop, and they've never worked on a watch. I mean, they were used to work on like big wood objects, working with like with one very important brand in the luxury market. And the thing is that when we came to them, yes, that's thank you very much. That's the painting I still have in my office, and so I bought it 17 years ago. And the funny thing about this painting is that I mean, I've moved from an house to other for 4 times, and I always kept it with me. And so it has to be. It's very resistant because also the colors of this painting never fade. So I think I was very inspired by this artwork, saying that this technique is very, very interesting. So we went to this workshop. They've never walked they never made a watch for their entire life. This is very specific because when you see a dial size, it's very different from a big wooden platter. So it took us like almost more than 2 years to develop this technique and to adapt it into a watch. So that was very interesting because, and I like I like working with people who have never worked in the industry, because they are very they like the challenge. So when people like the challenge, just like I do, they try to think and they don't try to reproduce what they are used to do. So these guys were really amazing. They are really open-minded to every challenge we push them. And yes, it took us more than 2 years to develop this technique. So we are the first one to bring it to watch industry. This technique is used on other industries, but in watchmaking, we are the first one to do so.
What's the fail rate of these dials? Did it take so long because they had to apply this technique to watch dials, which is different for them?
There is no real there is no I mean, every single dial we make, it's not like enamel. Enamel, when you put it on the oven, and if it's cracked, it's dead. So there is no fail rate, because when you had the layer of lacquer. By the way, on my silver leaf, the one you are showcasing right now, and the collection you have one layer of pure silver, which is applied on the dial basis, and then you're gonna have up to 20 layers of Vietnamese lacquer. Between each layer, you have to make it dry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sterling silver?
Yeah.
I thought it was foil that was not precious. So this is sterling silver foil.
Yeah.
Does it oxidate, or because it's coated, you fix the metal?
Of course. Exactly. That's the purpose of the Vietnamese lacquer. So once you put the silver leaf layer, then you're going to have this multiple layer of lacquering. Between each layer, you have to make it dry, polish it perfectly before adding the new one. And the addition of lacquer.
So you see, I learned something today. This is why I do the ACE list. Even I learned. I never asked you this question, and I assumed it's non-precious.
Yeah, it is. And we are working on using gold leaf, real gold leaf.
Wow.
So this is the kind
So
of
you
thing.
get a gilt effect.
Yeah, I mean we are working on it, because gold. I mean, gold is not like a neutral color. Like it's yellow or rose gold. So you have to adapt it, because when you put the lacquering layers, they are mixed with like a natural pigment that's gonna bring the color. The fact that the silver is gray, something that you can cover and bring the colors, just like you have 4 colors in your collection. And but if you use the gold leaf, you have to preserve the gold color. I think it's quite important. So we are working on it. So having something which is really interesting and that highlights the color of gold. But
Will
yeah,
you
silver.
did you consider making one that's transparent, just a silver leaf, untreated, uncolored?
Yeah,
Just
but it's I think for me it's a bit too reflective, because it's a metal at the end of the day. So when you have it, and if you have some sun ray on it, it's gonna be wow. It's gonna be very 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 powerful. So
did you make a photo?
If I made a photo of it,
Prototype.
I mean, we received we received the dye bases, which are only with before adding any other color. So yes, I can tell you this is very very.
It'll be very cool when you matte finish it.
Yeah. I mean, we're working a lot of ideas, and the idea of having only the silver or only the gold is part of the project. But it's for every single versions that we're working on, it's quite a long-term process. But I mean, I can tell you that the ideas we're working on is going to be very exciting in the future.
Amazing. Very cool. Congratulations. So if it was up to you, you would have launched it earlier and move away from these collabs and do more métier d'art. But because it's a hand process and it's trial and error, it took you longer.
I mean, I have no regrets about what we've done in the past.
Yeah.
Of course, for me, this is where this is our space where we are the most comfortable. So, but in the story of a life, it's not like you have the idea and it's just I think that the first years of the brands allows us to be where we are now. I think it's I mean, the ideas every time we have has been connected to the past. So what's the next move? And I think that we arrived to the métier d'art because we made the previous project, the previous collection. So no regret about the past, because the good thing is that we never changed anything to the philosophy. It's the same philosophy than day one. It's just another way to execute it. And I think that now I'm totally aligned with the philosophy of the brand and the way we make the watches. And I'm really comfortable. This is the future of AWAKW. I've never been that happy to creating. I've never been as much online as with the brand that I'm right now. So Yes, this is, I will say, the final step, because you never know. But I think that's where we are now is where we're gonna last for years, for sure.
So I have two questions that I can use as a segue. I want to pull up William's question about the loom. So, good morning, William. Thank you for tuning in. He writes on YouTube, good morning, Lilian Alon. Love the loom effect on the Son Mai collection. Can you please elaborate on how this is realized? Thanks.
Sure.
So, I just want to pull it up
Yeah.
because when you showed me these watches last summer, it blew my mind because I thought it was enamel. Then you told me what it was. I was so in my own mind that you probably told me it's silver leaf, but I didn't grasp it because I was so mesmerized
Too
by
many
the
questions.
no, but the depth of the colors, the
Yeah.
metallic effect. I knew it wasn't lacquer, and I couldn't grasp it. And then I turned around the watch. I saw you upgraded the calibers. I loved the finish of the flange around, as you can see my mouse moving, the flange around the caliber, which gave this French chic, I call it a Dunhill English elegant pattern. And then I knew Awake elevated its game.
Mhm.
And then you pulled out the loom. And this is what William is referring at. And then it blew my mind because you had this traditional métier d'art, an old technique,
Mhm.
with the modernity of these loom frames around the indexes. So, talk to us about this.
Sure. First thing we'll introduce that for this very new collection, and we start from a blank paper. We Everything is like 99% new. The case design, the techniques, the strap, the caliber, everything is new. And so this is why this was a really, really new beginning for the brand. Some people say you could have changed the name of the brand. I think that there is still the same DNA. Whatever the design is I think it's connected to the past. But yes, we have to start from scratch for everything. But the one thing which is totally in our mind and is always about bringing innovation. So métier d'art, it's a new métier d'art for sure. That, just like I said earlier, is never no other brand have ever used it in the past, but it was a quite old ancient technique. So the idea was to bring the kind of a bit of craziness, a bit of innovation. So how can you bring something really futuristic and combine it perfectly with something which is very traditional? And that was the biggest challenge. So how can you add the little cherry on the cake that's gonna make it very different, very unique, even more unique than what it is just with the simple use of the technique. So it has been a tough work, this loom effect, because we have to totally change the way we produce indexes and hands. Like when you see like traditional watches, you have the Luminova, which is inside the index or inside the hand. And now, as you can see, it's totally around. So it's a totally different effect, and totally different way to do this. First of all, you have to make the 3D plus of Luminova to create the index. Then you have to dig into them and to apply some metal index on them. And it was even more difficult for the hands because Luminova is a liquid material, and creating a hand which is made of Luminova before you apply the metal hand on it is like having something which is something really thin but very, very sustainable, because Luminova can crack, and this was very tough to create these hands that's gonna be very very resistant, that's gonna sustain for a very, very long time, and having this effect. So yes, it was quite a tough challenge. We work with like masters of very, very skilled people to create hands and indexes, and just like for the technique, for the workshop we work with on the semi lacquer, we have to work from scratch. They never work on such like a different project, so it was a bit of a lot of tests, a lot of learning, and it took us more than 1 year to be able to bring this idea to life. So but I think it's very important because it brings a very, very specific identity to the watch itself and to the brand. I think it's a kind of light signature, and it's very tough to find your light signature, and think we've succeeded in doing so. But the idea, the original idea of this Lume effect is not just like to have the wow effect, which is obviously when you show the light signature to people, when you have the UV light during the day, is like everyone says, wow, that's just crazy. But the idea behind this was to pay tribute to the work of the artisan. We know we are working on lacquer. Lacquer is very glossy. So the idea was to create like a lot of reflections into the dial. So when you have the light reflecting on the hand, the head, sorry, reflecting on the dial, you have something very, very deep that shows all the layers of lacquering. So this is also very interesting, technically speaking. And yeah, that's it. So we're assessing something very unique, again, very technical, and which really pays tribute to the work of the master lacquer. It really highlights the technique itself. So because we never do things that just because it's cool or just because it's new, it's always have to be connected to the rest of the watch. So we're really happy to bring this light effect and like technicity into this watch. And the good thing is that when you saw the watch for the first time, it was at Geneva Watch Days, and you could not notice this Luminova. And I think that was very important to me, is like to have something very classy during the day, and something when the lights comes down, something totally different, like very much more modern. Because you have the day show, which is the lacquer work, and you have the night show, which is the Luminova work. So in some way, you have two watches in one. And I like this idea of something very discreet during the day and something very powerful during the night.
I love it. And I loved it on the spot. And you know that during a fair, I see watches from first meeting 8 a.m. till we're still in the pub at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So you see watches all the time. So to impress me is difficult. During a fair, you're less capable of absorbing, but you blew my mind. So thank you, William. Well spotted. I noticed something while you're talking. The first Sonmai collection, the 4 colors, were 15 numbered each.
Yeah.
I see the purple is sold out. So lucky us, because we still have one left. So if you want one, DM us. What happens if all 50 are gone, dear Lilian? Are you going to keep these colors, or are these colors gone forever?
I mean, this is in between. Yeah, that's a that's a French answer. No, to be honest, as I said, these techniques allows us a lot of creativity, a lot of ideas, and I like the idea to bring new ideas quite frequently. So what we have in mind is that we have 50 pieces, 50 watches per color per year. So once it's gone for the rest of the year. But we don't have any. We don't know yet if we're gonna reproduce it next year. So it's a batch of 50 watches with the same dye color. 50 watches of the same, they're all numbered. And right after that, we stop it. We have new ideas. We're going to do different things. And then next year, maybe we will reproduce it. Maybe not. Maybe we will add new colors. It's not something that the colors is something that is really easy for us to bring. So I don't know yet if I'm going to make another amethyst in 2026. So to be honest, it's not a trick. I'm really serious on that. Just like we create 50 watches with the same dye color, then we sell them, and then after that we'll see later if we reproduce it the year after. So don't know.
You're not playing the FOMO game, because I know that's not what you are about. It's simply because they're really handmade, as we saw, and the artisans can't make more a year, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So we are even pushing them to be able to train people to work on watches, because I'm really, really thrilled about their work, and I want them to be able to produce more. But it's a handmade process. It's not like I cannot do like 1,000 dials a month if I want. It's not possible. It's just not possible. So the things don't allow us to have like a 200, 300, 500 watch with the same color, because if we do so, we cannot do other things, because this is the same people who are working on different colors, different techniques, different things. So I mean, they have only a few hours a day to work on our watches, and we have so many ideas. We are so creative internally, and I wouldn't say I am. We are. I mean, I'm lucky to work with people who are really, really creative too, and so we have many things to launch and to share, and we want to show people. So this is not a trick, a marketing trick. It's not about FOMO. It's just about, we have many ideas, and we cannot like express them with a high number of pieces for each idea. So we have to choose, and yes, the technique itself will last. The silver leaf technique, the one you see, will last for years for sure. But it's just that we allows us to be creative without any limits. So working on 50 watches per color per year is something that I like, because it allows us to work on so many projects at the same time.
Thank you. This was amazing. Thank you for sharing this journey with us. Thank you for our dear viewers for tuning in. If you're listening to this episode on a podcast when this has ended, this live stream, or on YouTube or wherever you're viewing this, if you have any questions for Lilian or us, just send us a DM. If you like these series, next week in 8 days, on Wednesday, March 26th, I am sitting down at the same time with the managing director of AWAKW. Please do tune in. If you can't join live, then send us your questions and we'll deal with them on air. Merci beaucoup, Lilian.
Merci, Alon.
See you in 2 weeks in Geneva.
Yeah, see you soon. Bye-bye.